speech is a little bit of a tradition of TDF. It gives you an idea of what we have done during the last 12 months. Actually, looking at our history, I think that now we can say that we all share a 4-year-long dream. Being one of the founders and being Michael and Florian, who will be contributing to the speech, are both founders as myself. I think that going back 4 years, more or less these days, 4 years ago, we were in Budapest for the OpenOffice.org conference, and we have the first and last meeting, face-to-face meeting before the fork. Actually, it was on the second, so I think it just 4 years ago. And if we could dream at the time where we would be after 4 years, I don't think that not even dreaming really in a crazy way, we would have thought that we would be here. Not just, I mean, not here in terms of Bern as a city, but here in terms of the size of the project, the story of the project, what we have achieved in 4 years, what has happened around us in 4 years. So I would like to give you a little bit of a different view of what we have done, just trying to organize in cycles what has happened so far. Let's say that we had 4 releases, including the first beta, that were the first cycle, the very first cycle, and the project was led by a steering committee. The steering committee was a result of that meeting on September the 2nd, 2010, and it actually managed to give a formal shape to the project, because I think that 4 years ago there were many ideas, many nice ideas, but there was not a shape. Now there is a foundation, there are roles, organization, there is a structure, so it's a completely different story. Then from March 2012 to February 2014, there has been the first generation board of directors. I say first generation because it was more or less an heritage of the steering committee, and anyway it was most of the founders were in the first generation board of directors. In February, March 2014, there is a new generation board of directors, and I show you why. These are the members of the board of directors. You can see that only 2 persons are founders of the project. I mean, everyone is deeply involved in the project, but there are only 2 founders. There are a number of people that are first generation, and with first generation, I say they came into the project while the steering committee was in charge, so during the first 2 years. And then you have a number of people that is second generation, which means that they were attracted and came into the project while the first generation board of directors was there. So they are completely new. They are new, they are bringing new ideas, they are bringing new ways of doing stuff. Of course, the founders have probably share a common problem. They've all been influenced by 10 years of history, which is not a problem, is a problem and a virtue at the same time. But we were all deeply involved in the OpenOffice.org project. And of course, if you want to innovate, you cannot just look at the past, you have to look at the future. So having new people inside the board of directors is absolutely an advantage. And what has happened in terms of to the product, more or less. I mean, this is not view that maybe is not shared by developers, but or is just partially shared by developers. But this is what someone like me that is not technically skilled can understand by looking at the project a little bit from outside. So the first 2 years, so 2011, 2012, were a lot about refactoring the code, cleaning the code, making the code more modern. I know that there is still quite a lot to go there, but we are in a completely different position from 2010 when the fork happened. And then in 2013, 2014, the new major releases, it's all about improving feature and improving performances. Of course, there is still refactoring there, as there were new features there, but I think that the focus is now changing a little bit. The fact that we have companies like Cloudon that have decided to base on LibreOffice their developments is significant in the sense that it's a recognition of this kind of work that has been done, and of course it's contributing a lot on this kind of stuff. There will be, I can tell you that there will be other companies that will be announcing product based on LibreOffice shortly, always on the mobile side. Of course, there are different ways of handling that. The Cloudon is probably the best and the most tight integration that we can dream of. But then there are other companies that are just taking the engine and using the engine in a different way. I think that everything contributes to growing the ecosystem and growing the project and making the project more active. And of course, what has happened in the meantime is that the foundation has grown, and the foundation has grown thanks to donations, and we will see the trend afterwards. But the foundation has grown now. Now we have a structure. We have a structure, and these are the people, and I leave the microphone to Florian that he will talk about the people. And so that's to go.
So hello, also from my side, thanks for being here. As Italo said, a couple of words on how we have grown over the past years, and as Italo said, thanks to the generous support, thanks to the donations, we have been able to gain structure, to get people involved in TDF, to make things possible that we deemed impossible quite a while ago. So we have had the opportunity to hire contract a few employees and contractors. One is sitting here, Kloff. Hey, that's Kloff, who's been working for TDF since summer of 2013. And actually, if you download a LibreOffice release, the chances are rather high that it has gone through his hands, because he's our release engineer. That is, he's responsible for, pushing the buttons, triggering the releases, checking for last blockers that might stop a release, and distributing the files on the mirror network. That's his role, and he's working for TDF, so we have this very important role of the one deciding actually about the final release and making it possible directly inside TDF. Second one, sorry for the rather dark picture, is Sophie. Are you in the room?
I'm here.
Ah, Sophie, thank you. You can see your life in the color over there. The applause is totally justified. Sophie was coordinating the LibreOffice conference from the TDF side, so a lot of things that are possible here and that you see here are also her merits. Sophie has been with TDF for since December 2013, and she has a couple of work areas. One is administrative assistant. That means dealing with all those requests like travel refunds. When you will file your refund, it goes through her hands. She's been with the community for quite a long time, so she's very well connected and therefore is doing lots of communication, coordination inside TDF, bringing people together, making projects happen. That's actually Sophie's role, and glad to have her, of course. Italo, you can see him right here. Italo is also one of the TDF founders, is the mastermind behind our marketing, driving the marketing, and right now is working on a certification program for TDF and has joined us, I think, in December 2013 on a paid basis. He came up with the developer certification first and now is working and actually finalizing bits on the trainers and migrator certification. So soon we will see the option of having people working on and with LibreOffice certified, overseen by TDF and driven by Italo, and who does a lot of other very, very good things for TDF in his pro bono time. So it's great to have him around. We have Alex, not sure if he's here. Alex has been with TDF also. Yes, applause please. Alex has been with TDF for quite a while as well, and these days is on a paid basis, contracted basis, our infrastructure administrator. That means he's the one driving the infrastructure platform when you download LibreOffice, when you go to the website. That's his work right now. He's in a rather large project dealing with migration, as we call it, Infra 2.0, migrating to scalability, high availability, deployment. You see, as the community and as TDF has grown, also the infrastructure requirements have, and actually you deliver a talk, I think tomorrow at 10, so if you're more interested in that, don't miss out on his talk about all those fancy, geeky technical details on that topic. We have Robinson, is he in the room as well? Hey Robinson, wave hi to Robinson. Robinson has been as a volunteer with TDF for quite a while, and now has been contracted just last month. He's the QA engineer. That means TDF is investing more into the quality of the software, organizing, testing, bug triaging, bisecting. One of his items is also to get actually more volunteers involved into this area of working. So we fostered a volunteer community by that, and I think it's really good to have roles like those directly inside TDF to take care of the stability and the quality of the software. And you have me. Thanks. I have the duty to coordinate all of that, to deal a lot with administrative issues that comes with that, and well, sometimes I even deliver a short speech during conferences, as you can see, and enjoy very much being here and being with TDF, of course. So, handing over to Italo, Michael?
Yes.
Italo.
Okay. So the next one is about the advisory board. I think the advisory board has grown dramatically over the last 2 years, and this is also significant because it shows that there are more and more companies that put their trust on TDF. When we started, the companies were Google, Free Software Foundation, Frodev Germany. Frodev is the old OpenOffice.org German community that then switched to LibreOffice. There was SPI and I think Suzanne Redat. All the others came afterwards. For those that do not know, MIMO is the French organization that oversees the migration to LibreOffice of the French government. And CAXT is, we can say, the science academy of the Kingdom of the Saudi Arabia that is overseeing a lot of the work on, of course, on translation to Arabic, and also of languages that are written from right to left. which is exactly the opposite as we are used to do. Then you have Cloud-On, Itomy, Collaboral, Anido, Intel, AMD, and Red Hat and SUSE that are historic partners. And Studio Storti, who is an Italian company. And all this, I think, in terms of capability, of spending capability by TDF has been driven by donations. So these are donations by individuals. Each brick is 1 day of donations. So this is since May 2013 to August 2014. As you can see, of course, we have had a little bit of decrease, but if you look at that on the long range, it's rather stable. So that means that we are attracting around 5,000 donations per month from individuals. And this gives us the capability of investing, but not only to invest, but also to save some money for the future, which is very important. So I think the board of directors, the first generation, the second generation, have decided not just to spend all the money, but to invest some money and to save some money for the future. So let's just assume that the flow of donation stops today. No one hopes that, but we still have, I think, 2 years in a bank of money to go, and this means that you have 2 years to think about how to recreate the flow of donations. And now, what has happened during the last 12 months is just highlights, because the problem is that too much happens for a 20 minutes speech. So we have reached 200 members, and we have reached 800 new developers. And this, I think, has been an amazing achievement, because before the fork, everyone was convinced that no volunteer developers were going to work on the OpenOffice.org code. We have 40 certified developers, and we hope to have more in the future, of course, and we hope to have people who are working in migration and trainings. We have launched the Document Liberation Project. Is a, let's call a sister project of LibreOffice that comes from the filters that have been developed by the project. These filters have not just been added to LibreOffice, but has been made available to the entire ecosystem to increase to liberate the document, so to allow people using also other software to add filters to import proprietary documents that in several cases have been lost because the program that has generated those documents is not existing anymore. This is a little bit personal, and I'm very proud to do that. In Italy, we have the first native language association that is entirely inspired by TDF. And I think it's been quite a long travel to found the association that is called Libre Italia, but now we have it, and I will have another slide on that. The first US Hackfest, thanks to Robinson and Joel, who are just back in the room, I think is the first. And I invite everyone that has good contacts in the States to relate with Joel and Robinson to create a network in the States. The States are a huge country, so creating a community there is probably 10 times more difficult than creating a community in Europe, in a European country. But if we want to really succeed as a project, as a global project, we have to get a community in the States. I think it's very important, and we all have to help Joel and Robinson and all the others coming from the continent. There is Mark Paré coming from Canada there. We all have to help them to create a community. It's a hell of a job, and so only with our help they can succeed. And we had a number of successful product launches. This is document liberation. These are the filters that have been developed by the document liberation guys. Many of these filters are adopted by other software, by other open source, and even by some proprietary software, I think. These are the reviewers for certification. So there is a group of people. During the marketing certification track, there will be a number of speeches about certification. Who is interested in that is invited in room 105, starting from this afternoon. This is Libritalia, and we have 5 people from Libritalia here. We have the president, Sonia, who is there. The vice president, who is Marina. I think is the only association where the president and vice president are women in a technology environment. I should say that they're not the president and the vice president because they're women. They're president and the vice president because they're the most effective lady in promoting LibreOffice, the president, and the most technical guy inside the association. Then we have Alfredo Parisi, who is our mascot. And then we have the name Osvaldo Gervasi. Sorry, I'm just over 60 years, so just bear with me. I'm losing my neurons. Osvaldo is there. We have launched less than 1 week ago, and we have 110 members as of 10 minutes ago. So it's really, we have a statute that is entirely based, of course it has been a little bit tweaked to reflect the Italian law, but it's entirely based on the TDF statutes. And the mission is to promote LibreOffice and ODF. Product launches. These are the last 2 product launches. You know that we have tried to distribute press releases in the local language. We should do it better. So if you want to translate our press release in your local language, please send an email to me or to Sophie to organize that. We have journalists in our mailing list in more than 20 countries, so we can probably address your country's journalists in the local language. If you send us the translated press release, we will take care about distributing that in the local language. The fact that we have distributed press release in the local language has given us this kind of results. So LibreOffice 4.2, 6,000 articles or links since February, and LibreOffice 4.3, in 1 month we have already 4,000 articles or links. And we have very important articles. I've just listed 2, CNET, CNET, and which is a very large network. Actually, I've met the CNET reviewers, editor-in-chief of reviews, and he installed LibreOffice. He is supposed, let's say that he's supposed to install every software and to review every software. He has installed LibreOffice the afternoon after our meeting. So he was writing, actually, what I discovered that he was writing reviews of LibreOffice without having LibreOffice installed on his computer. Now he has installed. And O Globo, that is the largest daily in Brazil, has featured an article on LibreOffice. And we can improve these results. I would like to have, let's say, LibreOffice on the front page of Frankfurter Allgemeine or something like that. Maybe the Financial Times. We have the journalists in our mailing list. Let's try to do that. We have increased the number of active users. These are people that are pinging for updates. Based on this and based on the fact that we have Linux users that do not update, they update through their repository. We now estimate between, I would say, 100 and 110 million users worldwide. Of course, it's a ballpark figure is based on our data, but also on estimates. This is the growth of developers. This is amazing, and I think what is amazing is that the small green, light green are the new developers that are attracted by the project on a monthly basis. And I think after 4 years, not having missed a single month is an incredible achievement. These are the commits during the last 24 months. This is the trend line, so they are growing. Of course, there are months where June, July, some people take vacation, they should not, but they do that. So commits are decreasing. So you are kindly invited, if you are a developer, not to take vacations, or to administer your vacation in a better way inside the developers community. These are the code committers per month. This is the average of active on a yearly basis. So it's between 280 and 340. Of course, it's going up and down, but I think that having this number of active developers on a yearly basis, by the way, Microsoft states in their annual report that their active number of developers on Microsoft Office is 420. So we are not so far from the number of active developers of Microsoft Office. Of course, it's different because we have many volunteers, but it's not anymore like in the past, 50 against 420. And Michael, this is yours. That is the microphone.
Hello. So the graphs hide all manner of interesting things. So if we break this out by companies and groups, so this is basically individuals who have committed code in a month. And I would say at this point that code is not the only contribution. As Robinson will tell you, QA, triaging bugs is absolutely fantastic. We just don't have any good stats on that yet. So Robinson, over to you. But code is an important contribution, let's face it, we run it. And so each month we look at how this snapshot breaks down for various affiliations. And so you can see some interesting things here. You see mostly blue, right? These are volunteers. These are contributors that never committed to the code before LibreOffice has started. And they're the vast majority of people here. And you can also see some other interesting things, like this is Multicoreware, who do OpenCL enablement stuff. A massive spike of work just before our last release from loads of people. There's really a lot of them, and they arrived, did some good stuff, and then disappeared again. Not the ideal, obviously. Hopefully they will return. There is still some ongoing work, so that's good. What else can you see? This green is SUSE, and that changed, I guess, mostly to a purple of Calabra at some point here. There's some kind of transition here going on. What else? Some of these other things at the bottom. Yeah. I think that's probably about it from that. Let me switch to the next slide if I can. Clicking the right button.
You can use
Perfect.
Okay.
So that's committers, and our whole governance is set up to empower individuals and individual committers. So the previous snapshot gives a good picture of what you'd expect to see in our membership. Okay, so the people who control the organisation are extremely distributed, vast majority of them volunteers. This is volume of commits. So a commit is something like a unit of thought. Like you fix one coverity bug. I'm looking for Quaylon. He fixes a lot of coverity bugs. This is huge spikes here. But again, you see that the individual volunteers, and particularly when you add in original people that used to work on OpenOffice back in the day, these two blues are still a significant proportion of what's going on. And again, you can see the SUSE to Calabra spike, and you can see Red Hat, but a slightly different picture there in terms of volume, but still, we hit reasonably diverse. So, development stuff, what has happened? So I can't do justice to a year of what we've done at all. So I just thought I'd pull out a few things. The first thing is that ever since VCL was created, it has been suboptimal, our toolkit, the thing that draws our dialogues. And Quaylorn and crew have nearly finished this. It's within spitting distance. All the dialogues, there's some bits to go. It's absolutely fantastic work. And we've only started it in the last year and a half or so, so maybe 2 years, and we're nearly there. Just gives you some idea of the scale of the problems we're dealing with, perhaps. but some brilliant stuff. On the other side here you can see unit tests. So again, the trend very helpfully going upwards. The more of these, the merrier. The less regressions we get. German comments. We're in Switzerland. You understand German? Maybe. If you can speak or read or write German, you don't need deep programming skills. It helps to understand a little bit. But we would really love help translating the last 10,000 lines of German comments. And this is really helpful for internationalizing the project. My dear friend Miklos struggles with writer internals on occasion, and there's this huge, helpful-looking German comment, and Google Translate is, good as it is. It doesn't quite do the technical justice it gets it. But either way, again, the trend there is obviously very positive and going down, but we'd love to get it to 0. This graph will go to 0 pretty soon. I'm optimistic. Koilon, are you optimistic? Yeah. Yep. Koilon is probably even now, generating the bigger commit spike for Red Hat. And German comments is again something we can get to 0. It's a job that we can finish. We finished a number of those things. The string cleanup, for example, is pretty much complete. It's done. And that's nice. It's another thing that's been there for 20 years, or 15 years maybe. And it's great to get it done. Coverity is another, perhaps it's hard to understand quite how good the number is. 7 potential static checking warnings per 100,000 lines of code doesn't seem terribly low, but it's phenomenally low by the industry average. It's like open source projects, which are pretty good. 60 plus is the average. So we're massively better than our peers here. And again, a huge amount of the work is Koilon and Marcus and Norbert, and some people have just burned through this. But again, hopefully another metric we can get down to 0, like run no coverity, perhaps. Let's see. So some really good cleanup and paying down of technical debt, which is always encouraging, and then just another slide on some random grab bag of things. Like I say, one of the problems with LibreOffice is it's so big that our release notes don't say rewrote the dialogues entirely. They just don't say that because it takes 2 years, right? So all we can say is we did another 200 this release or something like that, right? And so a lot of what we do is by definition detail. Interoperability fixing is a huge detail problem. The specifications are vast, the core data model is huge. But just really encouraging ways that it's been improved. So particularly round-trip interop to OpenXML, Cloud have invested very heavily in that to make sure that when you load your OpenXML document, perhaps we can't render it all. Perhaps we're missing a weird glow effect or a strange chart feature or something. But when you've edited it and saved it back again, we restore that information, so it's not lost. So you can edit the document and be confident that the user will have their original improved document there. And I think that's a really key feature. We're very grateful for CloudOn's investment there. And just huge swathes of detail. There's always more formulae to knock off to keep up with the competition. Performance, something always happens. Just lots and lots of detail, more than you can write in a slide. Apple Keynote import filter, I think that's cool if you want to move people away from Apple products. And lots of other little features. I think we've talked about some of these before. So that's my attempt to do justice to a year of development in a very lame way, mostly by graphs. I missed your feature, I apologize for that. But it was only negative 5 minutes to do it. So, Vitalik, what do you think? I think that's about it.
Yes.
You can clap if you want, but RSI, you want to watch out. You can get it for clapping. Questions? Do we have any questions? Questions?
No questions.
Statistics? Okay. Well, the good news is that we split into 3 tracks shortly after this, and there's all sorts of interesting talks. To make up for the suffering in the morning. So, it's been very good. Thank you so very much. Take care.
Thank you.